The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are those of the host/guest and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any of BXR entities and those they represent.
Welcome to another week of Living a Rich Life. I'm your host, Rich James. Here on Living a Rich Life Talk Show, we inform, inspire, and encourage each other to live through 6 principles. That's my producer in my ear. We good, Monty?
Yeah, we're good. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. Never a dull moment here at Be Exposed Radio. So as I was saying, again, living a rich life is about 6 principles, 6 elements: good health, strong relationships, financial freedom, goals and achievement, extraordinary experiences, and philanthropy. Today, we have 2 amazing guests, one surprise guest that we're going to hear from the second half of the show. But then our first guest is a mover and a shaker, and we're looking forward to chat with him about some of the different things that's happening in his industry, in his world, and hopefully he will inspire you. He's definitely going to inform you, and I'm almost certain you're going to be encouraged to continue to do what you want to do down your life's path. But before we do that, as we incorporated this new thing, again, living a rich life, moments in time. So in local news, I won't say too much local news, but we'll take it nationally. Giuliani surrenders at jail in the Georgia election case. So you know that was a whole scandal with former President Donald Trump. So Giuliani, who was Trump's attorney, decided to turn himself in. I'm looking forward to see how that works out. In local news, recently, our mayor, Brandon Scott, and the temporary or what's it called? It's not. What is it called, Monty? When you have a person that's going to be appointed, but he's not appointed yet.
Interim.
Acting.
Or acting, interim or acting. Yeah.
Yes, acting or interim police commissioner. So, you know, they had a public meeting, and let's just say the residents were not afraid to call out our public officials. So that was an interesting meeting, I heard, and more to come. As we gear up for the school to start, Baltimore City Schools, they hired a record number of teachers. So they're ahead of the game for the first day of school, which is starting in the next couple of weeks. I do know some of the county folks, they actually hiring folks now, and they're starting next week. So county's starting next week, but our Baltimore City Schools hired a record number of teachers, and pretty much substitutes are going to fill those remaining vacancies. So we're going to keep the kids in mind and make sure that, you know, they get what they need. And our final living a rich life moments in time. So our Ravens, they lost their first preseason game after a 20-game winning streak. Does that mean anything? I don't know, but we'll see. We're looking forward to Lamar Jackson being back on the field, and see what our drafts do. So I'm excited. Again, I'm a New York Giant fan, but I live here in Baltimore, so you know, as long as the Ravens not playing the Giants, I'm here for the Ravens all the way, through and through. So we'll see. All right, so that's what we have happening. We're going to get things started, and I believe our guest has not arrived yet. Just checking a few things before we get started. I need some new glasses, Monty. I tell you, I was thinking about getting a LASIK surgery. Not too sure if I want to do that just yet, because again, That's tough.
When you told me last week, it was a definite.
Yeah, well, I got to make sure, I got to get pre-op surgery. Well, not pre-op, I got to get cleared, and I'm just nervous. They might not clear me.
Oh, okay.
I got to have my A1C got to be a certain number, and all this other good stuff. So I'm just nervous, but we'll see. We'll see. My friends that actually had it done, they live by it. They live by it. So just keep me in prayers. Say that. Keep me in prayers. Keep me in prayers. All right. What else is happening in the world?
You got here.
Well, we'll have to pause on that. We have our guest. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce our guest. Been trying to get him on the show for a minute. So with that being said, let's talk about it. With over 30 years of experience in the marketing, branding, and event management industry, our first guest has created a company that has developed and pioneered groundbreaking events such as Jazzy Summer Nights, African American Business Forum, African American Heritage Festival, $2 million basketball tournament, Afro Preak during Preakness Live, and of course, the Baltimore Met Gala. He intentionally focuses on connecting corporate social responsibility with cultural relevance in urban communities. He is recognized as one of the true marketing and branding visionaries, keyword visionaries. Please welcome the founder of the Finn Group, Mr. LaRian Finney. Finney, you're on mute. Welcome. Is that us? Is that us?
No, I said, I don't know if I deserve that introduction, Rich.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. So first and foremost, how you doing today?
I'm amazing, man. I'm amazing. We're getting ready for this Met Gala, so that's where my energy is. So I feel amazing today.
All right, excellent. We are definitely going to get into that. I think this is a timely to have you on because, again, I know for a fact that you inspire and motivate folks, and that's what living a rich life is about. But I think this also gives folks an opportunity to hear your story, and I want to get right into it. How's that sound?
I'm gonna take your leadership and your roadmap, and we can walk down that path.
Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan. So first, I know over 30 years of the industry. But so how long have you been in business outside of the Finn Group? And what inspired you and motivates you to get into the marketing industry?
All right, so I'll give a quick back. My history, my degrees in chemistry. I was 6 months as a chemist from McCormick Spice. And then I had a chance meeting with Susan O'Malley, who was at that time the president of the Washington Bullets. And she brought me on. She's an alumni of Mount St. Mary's, where I went to school and played basketball. So she brought me on with the Washington Bullets. I started out in sales and marketing and made my way up to run the Baltimore 4-game series in the early 90s. And from there, I went with Eastman Kodak, got some great training, worked on the Olympics in Atlanta. And then my last corporate job was with Johnson & Johnson, doing pharmaceutical sales for University of Maryland and Johns Hopkins. So that's how I kind of cut my teeth and began building processes and protocols on how to run an efficient business. And then I started my company in year 2000.
Oh, nice. So ironic enough, when you mentioned the 1996 Olympics, a good friend of mine who, again, was on the show, won a gold medal that year in the 400-meter hurdles. So shout outs to my guy, Derrick. And when I saw that, again, just doing our research, and you mentioned that kind of just put a ding in my head. So that's some good stuff. So you've been working on some major events, pretty much a good part of your life.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate, man, that we've been called to do some of the biggest national conventions, NAACP, National Urban League. We work with the top 100 NFL players with my company, Legends Access, myself and Ray Lewis. So we've been fortunate, man, and we just try to continue to set the standard where we're going to do it at a high level. And as we get to certain tables, we want to make sure we bring our folks to those tables.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell me, do you have an all-time favorite event that you produced? I mean, we're going to talk about the Met Gala that's coming up.
I one that, because I'm a big sports fan, and in year 2019, when the NFL announced their top 100 players, we were able to work with the Super Bowl and Hard Rock in Fort Lauderdale to do a century celebration, and it was really a tribute and celebration for the top 100 players, and we were able to get 42 out of the top 100 players to come to that event. And then some of my personal heroes, Jim Brown was there, and of course my partner Ray Lewis and Terrell Owens. So just being around folks that I admire on Sunday and to be able to do an event for them, activation, and really highlight and showcase them as not only football players but as great human beings was probably the highlight of my career.
Nice, very nice. It's always good. Again, one of the things when it comes to living a rich life, our element, in terms of strong relationships, that's element number 2. And it sounds like you've built a lot of those strong relationships throughout the course of your career. Let me ask you here, what makes a great event? So we know it's about the people, but what makes, in your opinion, what makes a great event?
Yeah, it's always the people, man. But I think it's, at least for my team and the culture that we create at the Finn Group, it's about the details to make sure that the experience is at a high level for the folks who are paying their hard-earned money or giving us their hard-earned time to come and support. So the details, how you show up, how you lay your footprint, how you engage with the customer, what the overall vibe of the event is, I think that's the key element for me. I want to make sure that at every position on the event that we've dotted all I's and crossed all T's. And I've been told that I can sometimes be overboard, but I'm going to stay overboard when it comes to the details.
Yes, I understand. I understand. The details matter. Details matter.
Yeah.
So for those that are just tuning in, whether it's audio or video, we are talking to the founder of the Finn Group, LaRian Finney. So Finney, can you tell us what services does the Finn Group provide?
So, man, it's been an evolution. When we first started, we were really focused on events and marketing and branding. And this iteration, we're doing really trying to tie corporate intentions to community vitality. We create those partnerships, strategic activations. So, for instance, when you talk about Afro-Preak, that's really a partnership that I have with the founders and operators of Preakness, the Stronach Group. And we've been able to be intentional about creating a cultural, impactful presence for our community at Preakness. So that relationship led to Afro-Preak, led to us tying in to Park Heights Renaissance and making sure that we can be of service to them and activating the programs and services that they want in their community. So consulting and strategy is really 99% of what I'm doing right now. And the events that you see are byproducts of those relationships.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, going back to that strong relationships and kind of make sure it's a win-win. You might have heard me say this before. It's a win-win mentality that I like to have. And I think we can all win as a people, as a culture, first and foremost. So I want to take this opportunity to thank you for all the different events, the different avenues and celebrations. I'll just call them celebrations, put them all under one umbrella that you've delivered. So what, and I got to say this, you're usually a pretty fashionable guy. When I see you, always very fashionable. And we're going to because again, I want to talk about the Met Gala and how that all rolls into play. So what are your current thoughts on today's fashion sense?
Man, it's all over the place. I can only speak for me, Rich. I like just to wear what I like to wear, man. I like my stuff to fit good, and I'm not with all the trends, right? So my fashion palette is really, things I like, and if I may see something, whether it's Tom Ford is one of my favorite designers, so I like the way he's very simplistic in his approach to clothing, but with a real flair of elegance. So I would say I kind of pattern, that European cut when I want to buy a suit or wear a suit, but not trendy, not with the latest fad. It's really just, whatever I deem, appropriate for that particular occasion.
Absolutely. So that leads us into what I really want to get into before we continue. So the Baltimore Met Gala. Now that's approaching. So share with our folks again this event that you have coming up, and I believe that's this Saturday, the 26th, right? So tell us about the Baltimore Met Gala.
Yeah, so we're fortunate, man, that we started this last year in support of a nonprofit who was doing work for homeless kids in the city. But what we thought Baltimore needed was really a showcase of what's really amazing about our city, which is fashion, which is art, which is culture, which is culinary, and we have a big philanthropic community. So that was really the foundation of the Met Gala, and we started it last year. We were very fortunate to have a partnership with the Baltimore Museum of Art to be able to showcase the event there. Year one really gave us a great launch. And then this year, man, we're very blessed to be at the new Exchange, which is right next to the Hippodrome Theater. They just renovated that space, $20 million that they put in renovations of an amazing 3-level space with amazing sound and lights that the guests on Saturday will be blown away. So the focus this year, again, we have a fashion experience. Rich, we have 10 designers, 140 models, 40 hair and makeup. Then we have 10 culinary chefs who are going to feature one of their signature dishes that will be featured all throughout the night. And then we have an installation of art throughout the venue, and it's being curated by the international renowned Ernest Shaw, Morgan State graduate, but has done art around the world. We have Cold Piece Chris Johnson, who's one of the top live painters in the country. Ainsley Burroughs, who from New York, but now lives in Baltimore. Scott Tucker, and then art by Chooks. So you have the best in class in fashion, the designers led by Earl Bannister and Jody Davis, restaurants led by Black Swan, Swill, Hoodfellas, and then again, the artists that I mentioned. And then the soundtrack, man, we have Teddy Douglas, legendary spinning. We have Farrah Fawcett from DC, the bearded drummer, and then the leftovers. And Gary Grew will be the entertainment during the VIP reception.
Wow, that's impressive. That's impressive. What did that look like trying to get all those folks together, right? I mean, because there is a lot of talent in Baltimore. I will definitely say that. I think this is something well overdue. So again, you have 10 designers. There's a lot more. Is it, 140 models, I believe, also I read somewhere, in a different, chefs that's going to be there as well. What was the criteria in terms of getting those folks on board?
So, when it comes to, I'll have over 300 people working on this event Saturday.
Wow.
And when I look at those particular disciplines, I let the folks who are experts in that industry manage the process. So the fashion experience is being managed by Lana Ray, Earl Bannister, and Jody Davis. The art is being curated by Ernest Shaw. And then the culinary is a extension of what Ezekiel DeVoe has done with Bork Week doing CIAA. So again, we let folks operate where they're most comfortable, then we stretch them to go to a higher level from a standpoint of being excellent and putting a product that represents what we're going to put forth on Saturday.
I tell you, the one thing I love about having this show is the things I learn about my guests. So I didn't even know you played basketball. That's the first thing. But tell me, what is your business philosophy? And I read somewhere and doing some research, my team came back and said, hey, we'll ask this question. How do you deliver the Finn Group way? What does that mean?
I mean, it's not rocket science, man. It's a commitment to excellence, meaning everything is done and we don't overcommit. If we commit to do something, we're going to deliver at a high level. We're very collaborative. And one of the main things, man, and why I think my team is so loyal, I don't ask my team to do anything I won't do, right? So if we have to get in the trenches together, we do. We check our egos at the door. We all have egos, but when we go to execute a project, a program, or a strategy, it's all about collaboration. So the Finn Group is about collaboration. It's about being of service. It's about asking for help when you need it. And it's about the collective greatness of our community coming together to do great things in Baltimore and around the country.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So again, folks that are just tuning in, whether it's audio or video, again, we are talking with the founder of the Finn Group. We are talking the Baltimore Met Gala, which is this Saturday, August 26th. And what time does that begin? Is that 5?
The VIP reception is 5 to 6, and then the doors open at 5:45 for general public.
Right. So if you don't have your ticket, I think you need to get your ticket. How can they get their tickets? Is it Eventbrite?
No, we have a few tickets left. They can go to BaltimoreMetGala.com and click on the ticket link, and it'll get you there. We have a few $100 tickets left.
Okay. And I will also add in my link tree that information. So folks, if you need to, you can go to my link and click on, you can get your ticket. I'll make sure the link is there as well for easy access. Make sure folks have that. So that's great. That's great. What would you say in terms of superpower, right? I always ask my guests, what would you say is your superpower?
Man, I say this all the time. It's really humility, man, and having the vulnerability to ask for help. Because, I live by a very simple credo, right? Every day I wake up, first thing I ask, how can I be of service? And then who I need to ask for help to get my goals accomplished. And being vulnerable and asking for help has really been a superpower that's allowed me to move down certain roads to success and being able to help and reach back and give back.
I love it. Number 6 on the element of living a rich life, which is philanthropy. And it does no good if you can't give back and pull someone up with you. So I already knew that about you. And it's a great quality that I admire. And again, just the way you move at these different events, we've worked together here or there. And I remember, so funny story for those that are watching. I remember I wasn't really working, but she was like, yo, Rich, you working today or what? But to your point, I was like, hey, it's no problem, right? To me, sometimes it's not always about getting a paycheck because, again, you do some extraordinary events, you work with some extraordinary people. So you make it easy. You make it easy, Finney, to support and be a part of your productions and things that you do. So thank you for that.
I appreciate that.
So as we talk about the Met Gala, I believe that its theme is the elements.
Yep. It's the elements. So that's earth, air, wind, water. Air, earth, fire, and water.
Okay.
So those colors are orange, blue, green, and red. And I've been told that there are some amazing outfits that will be coming through the door with those colors on. And then our decor is going to represent the elements. The lighting and the building will represent the elements. The video production will represent the elements. So again, being able to be the first event in this space of this nature, I'm very proud that we're able to accomplish that. but just the technology and what folks will see and feel when they walk into the Met Gala on Saturday is just going to be an amazing, amazing feat.
So I want to know, and I'm quite sure others want to know, what element is LaRian Finney going to represent?
Come on, Rich. You know I got to be fired, baby.
Okay.
I'm coming with some fire, some red. Coming with some red on Saturday, man.
Oh my goodness, I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh man. One of the things my folks pulled up in terms of the Finn Group, your motto, which is where your vision meets our needs. Can you expand on that? I think you did a little bit, but you know, they asked me to ask this: where your vision meets your ideas.
Yeah. So I mean, I think a lot of times when you're in a creative space, and those who are on the creative side, they don't take time to really listen to what the client or customer is asking for. They want to always inject their personal vision and way of doing things. And I'm a big, proponent of listening, man. I have this thing called listening sessions where, whether it's relationships or business, I'll sit and I'll let the folks get everything out they need to get out. I can ask some clarifying questions, and then I can begin to get my point across. So it's not talking over each other. It's really about listening. I think ultimately we've been able to take the vision and ideas of our customers and really bring them to light, activate them in a way that they get great return on investment, and more importantly, they have great impact on the community.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's important. So being in that industry of marketing, branding, it's event management, event producing, I'm sure you get a lot of criticism. How do you handle that criticism? And again, to me, this is where folks definitely can benefit in terms of listening and saying, hey, that makes sense, and this would help me move forward. So how do you handle criticism?
I mean, criticism is just as important as adulation, right? So
Yeah.
My badges that I wear on my arms are faith, gratitude, love, and humility. And that's how I live my life, man. So, the culture within what we do, everybody's accountable, including me. So it's accountability, being competent, is being transparent. That's our philosophy. So again, as I said, I don't ask my folks to do anything I'm not willing to do. And in turn, I need to be able to receive critique and ways to get better as a human being, as a leader. So that's part of our culture.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that makes sense. So here's the time where you share your information, folks that want to work with the Finn Group. If you can provide your contact information, your social media, whatever you want to share, so folks can get a hold of you.
Yep. So very easy. My website is finngroup.net. And then on social media, it's Finn Group, FINN Group. You can find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Finn Group 1 for Twitter.
Which is now called X.
Yeah, I
one of the things that I know in being in that event, or more so the entertainment industry, sometimes you deal with some difficult clients or partners. Can you tell us about a time when you had to deal with a difficult client and or partner, and how did you resolve that?
Yeah, man, I'm 57, Rich, so man, I don't believe in problems, it's just situations, and I'm always solution oriented, man. I'm dealing with something right now where communication on the other side probably was not where it needed to be. I feel like the goalposts are being changed at the last minute, but we're going to work through it. So, and if it's the only difficulty really is if we're not culturally aligned around respect and honor and integrity. If you don't possess those traits, then, we're not going to do business. It's never transactional with me. I'm a big believer that it's never the first deal, right? It's always a roadmap on how you can build partnerships and collaboration. and then the money take care of itself. So if I find that I'm in situations where folks are transactional, I typically won't deal with them. And that's typically where 99% of the problems arise, right? Because folks are, self-serving. They're looking at what's best for them. And that's where a lot of conflict happens, man. So I just try to not, and I'm blessed that I don't have to be in situations where I don't want to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think, again, it's the win-win mentality, right? Everything doesn't have to be transactional. Just good vibes, good energy is what I like to call it.
And good business, man, because at the end of the day, it's so much money out here. You're going to make your bread if you do things right, if you treat people right, and if you walk in faith, man, So I just get up and do what I need to do, and I let God and Allah take care of everything else, and we keep it moving, man.
Absolutely. So earlier I mentioned some of your, I don't know if I call them signature events. Outside of, and I know the Baltimore Met Gala is huge, and all your energy is focused on that. But I find it hard to believe that there's not something in the background that the Finn Group is working on. Can we get an exclusive of anything down the line? Are you preparing for, I think Jazzy Summer Nights, that's another famous one.
Yeah, so we have our last two installments of Jazzy Summer Nights, September 7th and October 5th. Lady Armor and Joey Carter. But I'm, a lot of my energy after I get through the Met Gala, we're prepping and working on some strategies for the World Cup that's coming to Atlanta in 2026. So we'll be knee deep in that. I split time. I have a home in Atlanta, so I'm between Baltimore and Atlanta. And I've been, again, blessed to have an opportunity to work on the World Cup.
Nice.
We're going into CIAA, which we'll do center court again next year in February, and the 149th Preakness in May. So, we have some signature things that we're working on, man, that we want to continue to cultivate and bring, great people along with us so they can make money, they can have impact, and they can employ people.
Absolutely. So this is Virgo season. So, and I haven't been to Jazzy Summer Nights, believe it or not, at all this year, which again, just scheduled conflicts. But September 7th, I'm putting that in as part of my birthday run, my birthday package.
Well, you're on the list, man. Come and hang out with us. We got Lady Armor out of Philadelphia. She's going to really bless the stage. She's an amazing vocalist. Her band is unbelievable. And then we have DJ Big L, who's going to close out. So we always want to give you live music.
Yes.
Nice DJs, cigar lounge, oysters, hookah lounge, cabanas. Just come and it's about the vibe, the people, and the music, man. That's been my theme for 23 years. And that's what we continue to lay on.
Absolutely. That's pretty dope. That is pretty dope. So in terms of, I always ask folks this. So the two questions. One, I asked you your superpower. The other question that I like to ask my guests, because again, for me, my 6 elements is how I've been living my life over the last, 5 years since I've been, kind of doing this. What would you say? What does living a rich life mean to you?
Man, Rich, I've been so blessed, man. So it's not, I just want to be a great husband, man, a great father, a great friend, a great brother to my partners, Derrick, Chase, and the like, and just be a good human being, man, because all the tangible assets stuff, I have had all of that. So I'm not motivated by that. I just want to really be a good human being, man, so that when I touch people, I can have some impact on them. And, when God calls my name, that I've really left a legacy that we've helped a lot of people and made a difference in our city and our environment. So that's really the richness I'm looking for each and every day.
Nice. Well, you definitely do it. 3 adjectives that describe yourself. What would you say?
I'm working on one, which is impatient. And it's really impatient. And I tell folks, man, I've been in therapy for the last 6 years, and it's really, how do you manage your expectations of other people, right? Because certain people may have limited exposure or experience, and if you're asking them to do things at a certain level that they have not been exposed to, that could lead to some frustration. But you have to be, good enough of a leader to help them get over that bridge. So I'm working on that each and every day. I'm loyal, and I'm community focused, man. Those would be the three things that focus, that I would say, my family, of course, but the adjectives, got to work on my patience, community focus, and the like. So yeah, I think those are the three things that would sum me up.
Yeah, that is true though. That you got to really kind of say, hey, if this person doesn't have that experience or those tools or the skill to kind of groom them to do better, to be better. Because again, I like to say, if you don't know, you don't know, right?
Yeah, and I think, and with that, we have to have the ability to ask for help. And if because no one is going into any activations or programs that we do not know what the scale and what the responsibilities are. And if you're in a boat and it's in the deep water, before we say go, you need to raise your hand and say, look, man, I may not be ready. And I respect that more than you getting your butt kicked game time and we're not prepared. So let us give you some help. Let us support you. Let us help you get that experience. But don't leave your other teammates out there because you're not ready to handle a certain situation.
Absolutely. So I got a special guest that I'm going to pull in here, but we're going to keep going until that guest arrives. So we're going to stick around. I got a special guest I wanted to bring on the show. You might know this individual, but I figured this is probably a good time to pull him in. So we'll give him a few minutes. In the meantime, can you share with anyone that is interested in getting into that marketing and branding, event management? Could you share with them some tips as to what they need to do and how they would go about doing that?
Yeah, man. Again, I've been at it 23 years. It's going to be peaks and valleys. I think, unfortunately, the culture now is not about really putting that work in, being 10 toes down, and I left a major corporate job when I started my company 23 years ago, making nice piece of change, not a lot of headaches, and I didn't pay myself for 2 years, man. So if you're not willing to make that sacrifice, regardless of whether it's marketing, entertainment, whatever, I mean, that's got to be the commitment, man. What are you willing to do? What sacrifices are you willing to make? And who are you willing to ask for help to get across that road? And help meaning not a handout, but just give me the tools and resources and knowledge to help me get down that path. And it's no quick answers to it, man. So I think that would be the advice I would give anyone in any line of business they want to get into.
Right. So we got a few comments. Someone says, that's the type of brother I would like to work with. Okay. Yes. So folks that are just tuning in, we are talking with the founder of the Finn Group, LaRian Finney. Again, a good brother. I had the pleasure. I'm trying to think, when did we first meet, Finney? Wow. Probably met you along the way, but actually,
I think it was some kind of engagement with Derrick Chase, who's my partner on some opportunities, right? So my business partner. So I think it had to be some interaction with Chase where you and I first met at the garage.
Yes. And then a couple of times I said, Finney, when you gonna come on my show? Finney said, well, you gotta invite me, right? I just thought I just thought it was funny because in our passing, I was like, okay, I normally again, one thing I've been blessed to when I first started, I literally have to go out. And again, it's funny the circles you keep, because Chase got me started doing this. And
Right.
you mentioned it earlier about the money will come, so I was doing it just because he was like, and then, so I was able to start doing some things and sponsors and other stuff like that. So it kind of worked out and the money did come. I think it took maybe a year and a half for me to actually start, seeing some returns.
Hey, Rich, I would tell you, man, when you put excellence above transaction, the money always comes, man. It never fails. Just put excellence as your beacon of light. And if you walk in excellence, all the other stuff will take care of itself.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. So again, who's some of your client portfolio? You've mentioned a few. We know some of your signature events, but what does, can you share with us kind of what your client portfolios look like?
Right now, it's more collaboration and partnership. So I have a partnership with Mag Partners. They're the developer of the Peninsula. I'm working with Dr. Alvin Hathaway and Beloved Community Services on developing the Thurgood Marshall Amenity Center. Stronach Group, who runs Preakness, is one of our partners. And then I have a joint venture with MOI, which is a furniture, fixtures, and equipment company. And we're probably doing $300 million in projects in and around the DMV area, where when you see these buildings go up, they all need furniture, tables and chairs or lights, and that's part of what we do as an organization. And then I have part ownership in Maison Marcel, which is the #1 rosé in America, sparkling and still. So you may see that at all my events, Maison Marcel, sparkling rosé. I'm one of the part owners of that particular product. So, my hand's in a few things, man. And, my wife and I, she has a design company where she comes and curates. She's a designer and decorator for the event Saturday. So,
okay,
some of the things that we're working on, man.
How do you balance, right? And is that even a word? Because I used to say I'm trying to balance everything, right? Between, the radio show, being here at this event, hosting this event, traveling for some of the other stuff that I do. How do you get that level of balance, work-life balance? What does that look like?
Well, for me, man, one of my outlets, I love playing golf. I do yoga every morning. That's how I start my day. I have great friends, man. And, regardless of what I have on the agenda, my wife and I, we spend a ton of time together, whether we at home, we working in the office, or we out. So, if I'm going out, 90% of the time, my wife will be with me. So that's how, she and I stay connected. And I keep good, strong brothers around me, man. And that really keeps me balanced.
Yeah, definitely. I think, again, the circle is the circle you keep, as I like to say. I think that's important, right? As my mother used to say, hey, you want to be a master plumber, then you put yourself around master plumbers. Whatever it is, I definitely I appreciate the circle that I've been a part of, and you definitely have a strong circle. We got a comment. Let's see. I would like to know what makes him look into an upcoming company that might need to learn from and that is ready to put in the work. Oh, there it is. Somebody popped it up. So the question is, upcoming companies, right? What might you need to learn from and ready to put in the work?
I mean, it could be saying, hey, they can reach out to my office, reach out on social media and say, look, I see this event coming up. How can I volunteer? I give you a perfect story, man. One of my dear friends now, VIP Decor Services, we had a chance meeting. We started doing small activations at Jazzy Summer Nights. I don't do any events without him now. He's the one that introduced me to Maison Marcel. So I think people just have to let things be organic. So if you really want to come rock out, you got to be in the space first to rock out with someone, right? And so if it's Jazzy Summer Nights, if it's Preakness, hey, how can I come and volunteer? The person who's leading my videography for the Met Gala reached out to me for Afro Creek and said, could he volunteer and shoot the event? The work was so amazing. He's now doing all of my videography work. So, that's why it's never the first deal, man. That's what I mean when I say transactional. You're never going to get what you want on that first deal. So go in. How can you get integrated in the culture? How can you be of service? How can you help? Yeah. And then when you get in that space, stand out, be excellent, and you'll get noticed.
Yep. Someone gave me some advice like that. He goes by the name of Ezekwe DeVoe. Yes, absolutely. Just let it come, and everything else will follow afterwards. So we have another question that came through here. What does your typical day look like?
I can give you what the anchors are. Every morning, I do yoga. I get my prayer in. I start my day at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
And and I'm going to try to get it done, man. I try to get 4 hours a night, but I intentionally, certain days I block out where it's all administrative, right? I'm not taking meetings. I'm not going to lunches or dinners. I'm really focusing on making sure that we're buttoned up as a company. So, that's without compromise. And then it's really about being where I need to be, man. And, and again, I wake up, how can I be of service and who I need to ask for help? And that kind of leads my day on what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's so 5 a.m. So how many hours a day would you say you put in?
I'm probably going 5 until probably 12, 1 o'clock every day.
Yeah. That's commitment. Like you said, sometimes these folks, I think, this is different generation. Everything's just the work that you got to put in. They don't really, it's a microwave culture. That's what I say.
Yeah. It's nothing, man. Nothing comes easy, but everything comes with, again, faith and humility, gratitude. I live in gratitude, and I live a life of abundance, right? And what that means to me is that whatever I have today is enough. So I'm not chasing anything.
Gotcha.
Right? And that's allowing me to really make an impact and make a difference with my family, with my community, and people that I care about.
Absolutely. So I said I had a surprise guest, and I'm going to take this time to introduce him. And you might know this person, you might not, but hopefully I think you might. So, folks, this is Be Exposed Radio. I am your host, Rich James, here on Living a Rich Life talk show. And our special guest today is known for hosting extraordinary experiences for 30 and over adults. I put that out there because that's pretty much a real thing. Our surprise special guest, and this guy is just phenomenal in every aspect of the word. He is an educator, author, producer, and activist. He is the founder of Stand Up Baltimore, which is a movement that aligns organizations and resources to improve the quality of life in Baltimore City, about the community, just like Brother Finney. He is owner, partner of Chase Executive Holdings. Please welcome my good brother, my good friend, Derrick Chase, aka D Chase.
What's going on? Who's that guy? Who's that guy also in this chat, man? I think I met that guy before.
Hey, Rich, what you doing? Ambushing, man.
I figured this is a good thing in terms of, we got the Baltimore Met Gala. We got two of the hottest guys in the industry when it comes to event producing, event management. They love the city. They are about the community. And again, this is Rich James talking, watching. I've known Chase for 30 years. And he's gotten me here on this. I'm literally the reason why I'm doing, podcasts and doing radio. And I said these two brothers are someone that I look up to. And what better way than to say, hey, pulling Finney's partner.
Hey,
Right? So, we're gonna do that. So I want to ask you, Chase, tell us, what is it like? We know we just had a conversation with Finney. What is it like working with LaRian Finney?
It's a masterclass, bro. You know what I'm saying? You got to think. I've had the opportunity, the luxury of having a relationship with Finney since I was 25 and I'm 52. You know what I'm saying? And the beautiful thing about life is having somebody who's a step ahead of you, right? So if they're a step ahead of you, you always have an opportunity to look forward. All right, you're looking forward, and at the same time, you're looking backwards. So when you really understand the concept of having somebody who is walking before you, you have the greatness of foresight and hindsight. And the challenge of most people is their arrogance, because we all are great, right? We run a great circle. But their arrogance does not give them the opportunity to recognize, when certain things are just, a little bit you. You want to be the best, but the only way to be the best, you got to beat the best or be trained by the best. So there's so many areas of my life that I call them LaRian.
Okay.
They're not, but serious. That Finney has been, a big brother, friend. He's just been a good brother, man. Our relationship is not transactional. We people who hang around us, they are entertained by the relationship because it's the beauty of sharpening swords. So me and Finney don't have to always agree.
Right.
All right. But we have so much respect for each other, we're never disagreeable.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Having relationships where strength is able to exist with strength and it doesn't have to be compromised is probably the best way to qualify or quantify me and Finney's relationship. It's strength.
I love it. I love it. Well said. Well said. Let me ask you. So we did pose this question to Finney. So Baltimore Met Gala is August 26th.
Uh-huh.
So the question is, what element will D Chase represent?
I'm thinking about doing a change of outfits, mid-show, baby. I may go from fire to water, baby. I'm
See,
damp in the middle, second quarter. I mean? I may get damp in there. I may go from red to aqua blue in that joint. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking I have a little surprise. Keeping it simple, but just owning my outfit. The fire truck red joint is something that I definitely would not wear.
So I wanted to wait until I had you both on the line for this question. So with the Baltimore Met Gala, and Finney will allow you to go first. Tell our audience what they can expect on August 26th.
Man, from the time you hit that carpet, so I'm gonna kind of walk you through the space, and this will be the experience. So when you hit that carpet, it's going to be a carpet in the colors of all the elements. You're going to have bird cages and painted models with vines going out of them and pearls. You're going to have a second line band. You're going to have a photo pit. And as you walk into the venue, you're going to have live painting by a co-piece who's going to do an original element piece as you walk in. As you walk through the front door, we're going to have some of the supreme top-notch talent serving you Marcel Rosé with their blue tux on. You're going to walk through a maze of art. You go into the space, again, $20 million that they put in the renovation. You're going to have a 30-foot LED screen. You're going to have sections and food from 10 of the best restaurants in the DMV. And then the fashion experience. So you're going to have everything's at a high level. The fashion, the food, the art, the people, the music. All of your sensories will be ignited on August 26th at the Met Gala.
Chase, can you add to that? Chase still with us? He might have dropped off. or got booted off. So let me ask you, Finney, what is it like working with Chase?
Chase was a big visionary, man. He has big ideas, and I think we have the perfect marriage where, he can see opportunities, he can see relationships, and then we collectively come together to figure out what that roadmap and that playbook looks like, man. But what I would say more importantly outside of business is that I never have to worry if my back's covered. If I'm in a dark alley, if I'm on the side of a road, I know one person got me 100 times out of 100 times, man, and that's Derrick Chase.
That's what's up. Yeah, I would co-sign on that. I will definitely co-sign on that. So I don't know what happened to Chase because we had a few questions for him, and we was going to give him the business because Chase, he's been on the show before, and again, as I mentioned, he was one of my first guests some 3 years ago. So, but I don't know what happened. I want to take this time to thank you for joining, sharing your story. Hopefully it inspired someone to get to that next level, continue to focus. I'm sure it has, because again, just my interaction with you has always been pleasant. So I don't see, I tell you, boy, I got to get some new glasses.
Hey.
I got to get some new glasses.
Hey, well, look, Rich, man, you keep doing what you're doing, man. I appreciate the opportunity to come on and share some of my story and engage with your audience and have a conversation with you. And anytime you need us to be of service, man, reach out and we'll be a phone call, text message away from you.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. So there you have it, folks. Again, we have the founder of the Finn Group, LaRian Finney. We have the Baltimore Met Gala, which is, you need to get, it's the hottest ticket in the area right now. If you need the link, it will be in my Instagram. Just click the link, take you right to where you need to go. Get your ticket. It's going to be fire, water, earth, and wind. It's all about the elements. LaRian Finney, thank you for joining. I appreciate you. And I'll talk to you soon, good brother.
Okay, thank you, Rich. I appreciate it so much. Take care.
All right. So there you have it, folks. We have some hot stuff happening here in Baltimore. Again, the Baltimore Met Gala. It's going to be a wonderful experience. I don't know what happened to Chase. Was going to pick his brain a little more, but at the same time, it's one of those things where you got schedules on top of schedules, on top of schedules. So I think today we're going to close out a little early, but before we do that, we're going to close out with Living a Rich Life closing remarks. And it's all about philanthropy. One of Living a Rich Life principles, elements, is philanthropy. A philanthropist is a person who donates time, money, experience, skills, or talent to help create a better world. Anyone can be a philanthropist, regardless of your status or net worth. How are you helping to make your community and or the world better? Being able to serve and help others is the greatest gift bestowed on us as individuals. Thank you, LaRian Finney, and thank you, D. Chase, for joining and sharing your story and inspiration. Until next week, stay focused and continue to be inspired to live a rich life. This is Rich James saying good night, and thank you for tuning in to Be Exposed Radio. Good night.